All right, we are back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben, and we're back with our 98th episode covering the 6th issue of 1993's Best Eisner Award Finite Series winner, Grendel Warchild.
Grendel Warchild.
It's chapter 6, Devil in Hell. We're excited to get into this really great, gruesome issue. Eli, what's up with you?
Oh, you know, staying busy, never stop, never stopping. We're deep into October, which means it's time for all the drawing challenges you can face. Everything from Jacktober to Inktober, Soupstober, Batstober, Captober. They're all out there, baby. And we're taking part in one that's called Kayfabe-tober with the cartoonist Kayfabe community. And day one was Grendel, man. Ooh, boy. What a day that was. That was like Grendel day for me. For all of us, man. It was amazing.
It was the most Grendel fan art you could
Ever.
imagine
The
at
flurry.
one time.
Yeah.
It was like 200 pieces of art.
Hey, maybe you are coming to the cast right now because you found it through that Instagram, because I was going through, I was looking at them and I was liking and commenting on as many as I could because, not only do I want all those people to know we're around, but I want all y'all to know, like, get into Grendel. Don't just draw it. I know some people didn't know it. They did their research and they found it. And I hope you read more. I hope you're enjoying the cast if you're tuning in for the first time. And hell yeah, we're gonna actually, Ben, we were talking, we're gonna do a little mini app and we're gonna go through all the art. So we're gonna figure that out.
They all deserve their shine. My favorite bit is when you can tell that the person has read Grendel because there's some little detail
I like that too.
that reflects the story. Chris Mises was probably the most mind-bending.
Yeah.
Seen here. Wow.
Yeah, it was so
man.
sick. Christian Misimo, who did our art, who did the Keep on Grendelin art, so
he does all the art.
All the art, yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I debuted a work in progress that is my
That's right.
Insanely ambitious Grendel cycle print. It's somewhere over here, and maybe that will be available to commemorate 100 episodes of
Absolutely.
the podcast. Maybe if you make some, you'll have to do some like
something because we can't
fraternity style prank.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy though. No pickles allowed.
No, I had to eat so many pickles. All right, great. Is that it? Is
just to tune in to Cosmic Lion Productions?
Good.
Yeah. There's always new releases. We're on a thing where we got a new book first of every month for pre-order, if not order straight up. So we're working on Space Knights right now. It's back there, but it's going to be amazing. Space Knights is Arcane's coming up.
Arcane's coming out.
And we got Tales from the Wolf with Tony Wolf, which is going to be huge as well. New York Times cartoonist.
Author. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Tony Wolf. So that's going to be amazing. Oh, what's up with you, Ben? What you been doing?
We're about to do the intro. Thank you, Easy You Busy. Thank you, Laserdisc. Pew, 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 pew.
VIVAT! It's like the devil is my best friend. Hunter Rose with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
Alrighty, we are back. As Benny said there before the break, thank you, Easy Busy. Thank you, Manus, again, who said Zach has a new name anyway. So maybe we'll just start saying Zach.
Is it E-Z-U Busy or Easy You Busy?
I don't know, if I'm honest. He changed his Instagram to that, but I don't want to look right now. But it's something. It's not a normal spelling, obviously. Yeah.
He's not a normal guy, obviously.
Oh, no. Great DJ.
Speaking of not normal guys, let's look at this cover here. This is
the cover, yeah.
Cover?
Oof, what do you think? So good. Loving it. This is a scene that happens in the book, and it's a bigger part with these nuclear mutants, ravaging. I think this is like a homage to like another cover that we know. I can't remember. He might have even homaged this
Evil
later.
Dead.
Maybe that's it.
An Evil Dead movie.
Evil, like a movie poster or like a Frazetta, I'm thinking, or something like that. But yeah, very, very cool.
I love the tentacle pattern, the sucker pattern on the tentacles. It's like what would Mignola do? This is great.
And the like splash of blood coming up from the bottom, ever so subtly.
Yeah, the nuclear mutants, they are really something.
All right, and this turns to chapter 46.
Like Northern Africa, I think.
I agree. Yes. He's
you want to read that? You want to read that?
Do you think we need to?
Preview?
It's been a couple weeks. It's chapter 46.
No, we do not. Let's go.
Let's go.
Trudge on.
All right. Just as the paladin is trudging, so shall we. He trudges low on batteries, and he's like, you can't see it here, but he's dragging the bike. Like we have an amazing spread of the paladin, and then we turn to the next page and we see he's continuing like trudging, and we see the bike behind him with Jupiter in there. And again, it's something to say that Diana talked about in the letters column. This is now the issue that happened after the long break, after Kamiko shut down, after they were back at Dark Horse and starting again. And I think there is an artistical difference, a growth of an artist you can absolutely see.
I like this panel of Jupiter. They're letting us know he's okay. Tough kid.
Yes, but he does have like a radioactive suit on. He has like a protective suit on with like a bag over his head and like yellow overalls type thing.
Sure. They arrive at this like walled off.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm not sure what this is. It's a temple. It's someplace. They're like Northern Africa. And Bernie's got some moves here and there, especially on that splash page.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you got to look for them. It's interesting. Yeah. We cut back to the Sun House. I love this panel. It's just like it's very Tim Sale. It's like a return to that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, from those like big business type of feel. Those issues. Yeah, I was looking at one of those the other day again. I love them.
I
love those.
This panel reminds me of like, what was that book? Oh, Little Bird.
Oh, Matt was telling us about that, I think. At the start of the cast.
Yeah, I mean that book is very, very similar to God and the Devil, and to other stories like that. But a lot of the design is like this. Look at this dude in the Mobius cameraman.
Oh yeah,
right. Wild. Love.
I almost didn't even see that like foreground. Like your eye goes directly to them in the middle, and then you kind of swoop around, and the guys in the foreground, they kind of get lost. But like it's so well done once you get the full view.
Yeah. I wonder who these foreground guys must be. Mid-level administrators,
associate
like
directors
myself.
Or something. Or
the point.
They're continuing to talk about the death of Jupiter, of the heir, and they're in this like period of mourning, and she's not doing anything.
The point of their conversation is that this is where Heath takes the lead in public, and she's like, "Oh, Heath, I didn't know you like to do it." So, yes, I'm not. I don't. He's very modest. So it's very like foreshadowing.
Yes.
Look at a curled smile on his lips as he does it, and look, the Grendels march on.
Yes.
And people sig heil. Okay.
Back to the Paladin, where he's trudging through this like sort of castle, this sort of like encampment, very Greco-Roman, if you will, maybe.
It reminds me, the whole thing reminds me of Clive Barker's Nightbreed. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, it's a 1990 like queer X-Men monster movie kind of deal.
Wow.
Deeply flawed masterpiece, like all of Clive Barker's stuff that I've read.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what struck me the most about this. This is a phenomenal page. Okay, so Eli, look at the isometric perspective grid that's made with the two parallel sets of lines, and then look at this weird panel shape. How the border is parallel with one of those isometric grids. You see this weird panel shape in panel 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so lower left panel border. is parallel with the tile work on the floor.
Oh wow, yes.
The thing that struck me the
Wow.
most about this entire issue was how like natural the paladin is posed. And he's
Mm.
not like, Eli, like we grew up on Jim Lee posing the characters, mugging and flexing for a camera that's not
Like,
really there. Yeah. Like
yeah.
looking cool.
Yeah.
And like it was exactly like when I found like Will Eisner and Mage and stuff like this, when when if you could like can make the characters look relatable, like there's so much like pathos that comes to the paladin who has no face and doesn't speak really ever. It just like there's a lot of feeling and emotion that just comes out of these very relatable poses that he's placed in.
Yeah. And I mean, in the story, it really, I mean, it calls for that as he's like drained of energy. He's like very low on power. He's trudging through, he's pulling this thing. The world is pulling him down. And so he's more naturally kind of like even shrugging, head down. He's got his hood on. And he finds his way to this like a underground, like a, what's it called?
A
well, Ben. Thank you. And so then he takes like a charge grenade and drops it down there, blowing it up, hoping to maybe restart this like water flow or do something.
I was very confused, but
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, that's what I figured.
Context
or
clues,
maybe yeah, but there's not really that many contexts. Like here's some context clues that you might not have picked up on if you have only read War Child. If War Child is your first book, there's some things that you need to know. One is that Northern Africa, up until like 50 years ago, was where all the nuclear there was a huge nuclear
right
deposit,
kind of thing.
all the plutonium was there, it would seem.
Yeah.
Right? I think
right.
All the right?
Yeah,
all
exactly. Yeah. They found everything there.
All surviving plutonium was like in this crazy sci-fi fortress.
Right. And they sent the cop guy over to like find it. And there was that very Mobius scene where he was like reaching into this orb kind of.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So something is so that event it took things sideways, it would seem, because now that region is under nuclear winter.
Right.
And without the atmosphere, the sun can't penetrate the atmosphere, so the paladin can't be strong or power the bike.
Right.
So,
because he like channels the sun's energy through himself to the bike,
and the sun is such a huge motif prior that like this is a great example of how reading the whole thing enriches the siloed experience.
Right. All the choices. All right,
but
so he drops it.
But look at Bernie's choices on the backgrounds. Solid primary colors. Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
We get to the next page and he's looking down there and he just tells him like, stay close. My power levers are low. So like if something happens, I can't like, I may not be able to do everything. And he puts this like hose down in there and he is pumping water. He's like pumping a liquid out of there. And of course, Jupiter, being a child that he is, this other little something says, hey, little boy, come on and let's play. Wow. Catch me if you can. And he's just like, okay, really, that sounds fun.
Really creepy. Yeah, I at first thought this was straight to vampires.
I did too. I forgot about these mutants.
Yeah. I was in my head, the mutants and the vampires sort of blurred into one.
What if it was like kind of like these are mutated vampires, even like like
it could be. I mean, the thing is, it's been so long and so many things have happened off screen.
Right.
Everything has happened off screen with the vampires.
Right.
Any number of things could have,
they could have been mutated by this like plutonium leak, this like,
But this kid, he's got like red blood-soaked bandages on his feet.
Oh yeah.
Very gross. What'd you think of this Heath, like Dr. Claw, Bruce Wayne
Yeah,
kind of scene?
it's great. He's in his lair. There's like cables going everywhere. He has this super sweet Grendel chair that,
He looks like he's in a janitor's closet. Like what?
yeah, it kind of does at that
What is
overhead view.
going on?
He has this like secret
He,
unknown little area
he
that he
can't
converted.
he can't get an office.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like
He
Milton. He
can't,
keeps getting moved.
but he's
I
got
believe you have my
the
Grendels.
Grendel chair. Yeah, man, it's so funny because the Grendel eyes on this chair and the Grendel eyes that were in the ceremony, the broadcasting space,
Mm,
were very stylized. That was
right.
they're back to back and they're like totally different and
Like you see on those banners behind Orion, like when he would speak, they had those long red banners that had like
right.
Yeah. So he's just talking to the guys, and it's just like they're continuing, like he knows now and is pretty sure that they're still alive. So he's like, I need proof. You guys need to like go cover all the southern borders, but engage. If
Yeah, they're in what's called the OPEC wastelands. Okay.
Right.
So
we learned about OPEC.
This is like the second or third time OPEC has been mentioned.
We should have been making like charts, like government entity charts. And
OPEC is it's the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries.
Oh, okay.
And so
that's a real
that's a real thing. Yeah. That's like it's like when people talk about extra governmental power structures.
Yeah, that's
they might be like, oh, the Illuminati's a thing. Yeah, sure. But like that's like a real thing. So
that's the real.
It seems like there is a very real and interesting Grendel OPEC story waiting to be written.
Gotcha.
It is clearly an organization that Matt has thought about.
There could have been there could have been other Grendels too, they're like that we just didn't know about. Someone that took up the mantle, put on a mask just for like one adventure and died. And that could be like these other little tales that you kind of tell around the thing. Anyway, so we continue following. Oh, go ahead.
One and done with BLS.
Oh, okay. All right. So we continue into this, like, these caves where Orion or Jupiter, you see him in his like, toxic waste suit, his radioactive suit. Exactly. And he's crawling up. He's like, good, you caught me. And then that's when, he kind of comes out of this thing.
Don't do the voice. It's too scary.
Oh my God.
Too scary for Halloween, Eli.
And it's really like, on the next page 9, we've got these like absolutely insane, like Kelly Jones style, like insane monsters, gross teeth, bulbous, gross, disformed,
horrible. Just like what are we looking at?
Right. Burnt, mutilated, mutated. There's
a lot of things going on. I don't think Kelly Jones is too far off the mark.
Yeah.
I think on the first page when you look at the radiation suit, I'm just seeing Bernie Wrightson all day long.
Yeah.
But then look at this one of the close up of Orion, of what's his name?
Jupiter on page 8.
And his cheek, it's got perfect 90s crosshatching.
Yeah, it does. It really does. That's so great. Just with one brush, you think that's like those are single brush strokes? At this point, he's got like a thick brush. Yeah. I've never ever inked with a brush. I need to get on that, man. I use brush pens all the time, but never like an actual ink dip. All right. Anyway, so that we did page 9. We're on to page 10 here, which he gets slapped on the shoulder with this just sizzling, acidic, disgusting tentacle until he hears splack, boom, and Prime is in there shooting off, cutting off arms, protecting Jupiter, and he's in there, using up whatever little power he's got left. He's like, come, and then he's just like, Jupiter's dripping with goo, and he's like, you got to get the fuck out of here right now until this giant, homunculus, is that a word? I know homunculus, is that a word? Is it a questionable word these days?
It's so, look at the hand growing out of the blood. It's so gross.
Like it has a stump, but it's like growing a new like little hand.
It's really really fucking weird.
Wow.
And we got this great transition into the Dakota Hills Grendel Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really like about this is two things. The set of Crystal's jaw and lips is very like natural. It's a very like relatable, like anatomically sound, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I also like that the panel is bleeding from the top and moving. It's at a Dutch angle. That sort of emphasizes the impact. All right.
There's not one page in this that has like a 9-panel grid or anything even close to like a perfect comic book grid or whatever you want to call it. It's all like thoughtful, creative, interesting flow for every single page, man. So we see Susan Varigan here again, still unnamed, and she's training Laurel, in self-defense, and she's kind of Laurel's getting a bit beat up, and she's like, okay, all right, Susan, thank you, but I've had enough for the day. I need a schwitz.
They go take a schwitz, and again, just like Heath's office, it's just like a boiler room.
Yeah,
where they
literally
put towels over the pipes.
Yeah,
I find that interesting because I really thought it was like a secret, like Batcave, like
a little
I thought
bit
it
more
was like a Star Trek bunker. Basically,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like a converted steam area. This was never meant to be a steam room, but it just gets really hot there, so they chill out there and steam. And they kind of talk politics here a little bit, but they kind of are, they're vibing a little bit.
Sure. The part that's interesting to me, I think, is when they're talking about the preternatural psychic link, and it ends. The last line is her describing it as empathy, as they have this tender and compassionate and intimate moment.
Right.
And it really reminds me that for me, having done 100 episodes of the show with you, Eli, always looking for the biggest meanings in this big and like unwieldy book, is that all this aggression, like if it isn't tempered with love, it just flames out. It can't be, if you're not directing the dominance with something anchoring you in the good, it can only be so effective before it spirals out of control.
Agreed.
That's my thesis.
That's your thesis? I mean, it's always like that. You can't have that good without the evil. You can't, and in most of Matt's books, there seemed to be that type of dichotomous nature, and it's not always a traditional man falls for a woman. It's almost never that. There's always some sort of wrinkle. There's always some sort of forbidden love element. There's always some sort, and it slowly builds here too, because we're seeing like a little bit of like in Susan's eyes as she, is massaging her knots out and stuff. And very cool.
The paladin dispatches this horrid homunculus.
Yeah.
And they get back outside. And my favorite thing is that in this last panel, it's as if it was drawn by Robert Crumb. Wow. I can't get enough of this. He is posed like Jim Lee doesn't draw him like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Really like a run, but like almost a
like
strained run.
He looks like he's nervous,
Yeah. Like
he looks like he's stressed out. So
and Jupiter's like kind of plopping around behind him, like
Yeah.
Until he sees on the next page the bike. Like the mutants are now messing with the bike, and then he just jumps into action and starts punting them away, kicking. Oh, they're getting into his water too, and he's like, oh, but at least they left the water uncontaminated. And right. He's trying to like summon the bike because they stole it, they took it, they moved it, and we continue.
He's got this beacon that beeps and sort of
find my bike,
builds tension.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, hey Siri, find my bike.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're running along, and at least he can track it. So they're blipping along, kind of like following this blip until they go into another secret passage here, or a little side door. Come down some steps. He puts Jupiter on his shoulders. Finally, he should have a little like, baby Bjorn on the back, or like, how in comics they just kind of put the sword on his back, or like I just watched Thor. He's always like putting stuff on his back and it just sticks there, you know. He should have like a little. He's just be able to like throw him back there and he sticks, you know.
So this is a lone wolf and cub moment for sure. So he gives him the gun.
Yeah, he's plumping through and he's like, take this and just shoot at anything you see. Do not hesitate. Do it. We're here.
Yeah. So we come in and we see this this sermon is being delivered. This anti-technology sermon by these radioactive mutants who were turned, whose life, who whatever they are, is because of technology. And so they hate it, technology, and those who manipulate it shall not be suffered to live. And so they're gonna they've got the bike and it's like, this bike, get the fucking
this is it, technology. And he comes from above and he's like, well, something happens. Oh, and they start coming up. Or what happens? He comes down or they see him up there? He comes down or something. And then
you can see him in the top right. So look, there's one big panel. You see the chasm between. And so they're behind him. These guys are shanghaiing him, the blue guys in the foreground, that last panel. That's a little tough to read, but it's very rewarding when you do. I didn't see it.
They kind of tackle him from behind. He gets his lightsaber out, but he falls back. And we don't really see what happens to Jupiter at this moment. They all fall down and Jupiter's up there alone. And that's the real reveal there. And he's like, I'm gonna pop him like a boil.
I when I read that, I imagined you reading it and doing exactly that voice.
Oh, nice.
And Jupiter, who is popping like a boil. And
he shoots and it just propels him.
This is Jupiter taking action. Is this the first time Jupiter has been active? Like last issue, he smiled.
Right.
This one, he takes the gun with, like he's scared. There's some real, character hero development shit going on in this issue.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to abusive office drama politics.
Exactly.
Laurel is just being awful.
She's throwing books at this guy who's just trying to help. Straight knocks him out. He looks kind of like Steven T. Seagal, right? Isn't that what Steven Seagal looks like, or someone like that? Maybe. I was wondering if that was like a little shout.
In the 90s, they all look like that.
That's true. Little goatees like that. And Heath is like, we'll never find any administrative staff that way, madame.
Right. What we learn in this episode is that there is, I think it's an underground network called Cloud9 News.
Right. Kind of like a pirate radio or something.
Yeah, that's what we learn, is that there is pirate communication going on. Probably, the unrest has not stopped. Laurel is still not a great con regent.
No.
Okay, great.
And you're saying that's what they talk about here on page 20. Oh, because there's been pirate broadcasts saying, and now they're talking about the pirate broadcast, more saying, everyone's saying that, the heir is alive. He's been sighted in Northern Africa with a big Grendel. Like, that's bullshit. Crack down on that bullshit, because it's not, he's dead. And I like this line. He says, there's trends are common, madame. Sightings of the dead. Elvis, Andy Kaufman, Epi Thatcher.
Right. Things are out of control, and we end looking at the giant statue of Orion.
Right.
As Laurel is reminded that her reach has exceeded her grasp.
Right. They're in SCAUR. And then we're back to this temple, a beautiful wide shot of this temple, Ben.
Yeah, this is the panel that most makes me wish that Brennan would give this book the Master Edition touch up.
Yes,
because it is a phenomenally drawn panel, and parts of it are very well colored, but this whole solid gray thing it's not really working for me. Everything else looks great.
Yeah.
So they're gonna mush his head. Oh, they're gonna smush them both with a rock on an altar. But I'm sorry. The boy will become one of the mutants. That's right. God.
Will become one of us.
That's terrible.
And right as he's up there, something happens. Someone shoots off his knuckle, or shoots off his wrist, and the boulder comes and smashes him on the head. Oh, it's great. As Grendel Prime wakes up, and again, they get cut up and they're getting eviscerated by these Grendel troops. You see on their helmets, they've got just the top of the Grendel eyes there. It's really cool. And they're just shooting them up.
These were the These are Laurel's men.
Laurel's men.
There's these are Grendel's.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Laurel. Oh, what's the daughter's name? Wait, were we
Crystal?
Crystal. We kept saying Laurel.
Crystal's
there.
the daughter.
Sorry, man. We'll correct ourselves. But yeah, okay. So these are
I
Laurel's
got it
men.
right, man.
Okay, I did not. I definitely said the wrong thing.
These
All right, so,
are
yeah.
No, these are
Laurel or Heath's
these are
disciples.
No, these guys are these guys are loyal.
These are like official, right? Because she demanded
to
Orion.
Exactly.
Right.
These are Orion's guys.
And so Prime's free and he's up and kicking and destroying, whacking and thocking and slamming and powing until he gets
whacking and thocking and slam. If you're listening to this only in audio, it looks great.
What's that? Yeah. And then he gets Jupiter and he's like, this way. They start running. We must get to the bike. So he starts, just plowing through, leveling people football style until he gets the butt of a gun to the head. He's like, ugh. He slaps down. And, Jupiter does almost what Prime did for him earlier when Jupiter passed out and Prime passed out on top of him. Now Jupiter is on top of him saying like, we stay together kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like these, we saw these helmets by Tim Sale. That's
right.
I think so. And I remember the ones that the Croatian guys do are very similar.
Right. Sorry, you're saying these military guys were in Tim Sale's book. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Because they are like nuclear troopers anyway. They have the big gas masks on, goggles, they're fully covered. And that's the ish, man.
That's the ish.
Non-stop action. Woo. This afterword was great too.
So I think you're right. We're meant to think that these are Laurel's men. For sure. Right. You'll tell me about the afterward. I'm really intrigued.
This is the incubation year. So this is really, when you're reading it in this format, paragraph format, written format, it's really a lot of time and it's really a lot of growth. This is not, the story of a person or the actions of a few different people. This is the death of Brian Lee Sung. This is Wiggins' story, a corporate weapon. This is all that. A ritual penance, it rises to become like the Grendel drug, a societal archetype. And so we get all to that point. And the last piece they say, this drug whose laboratory designation was Arcana Prime ultimately became known by the infamous term that the church itself had even adopted to replace the more antiquated name of Satan. The kingdom of Grendel was at hand.
Wait, what?
Just that the drug was renamed Satan, but like the name of Satan in church is now Grendel.
Does that happen in the story at all? Or
just we see the drug and when they say okay. Cool. Yeah, because at that point,
I like that these afterwards.
Yeah.
I like that these afterwards like do world building, but a lot of times it feels like they're like describing things that are barely in the book.
Well, maybe that's the point, is to kind of suss it out and kind of set it up.
I wish that there would be master editions that would put all this stuff in the book,
right, in context of all this.
My
stuff.
Wish.
That'd be really cool.
That's my
to do like
wish.
Devil in Detail style, Devil in Detail, Devil by the Deed style books for each part of the. The letters column was great again.
By Crystal and by
right.
It was great. Did Jamie Rich come in with his deep criticism?
He didn't. No, we didn't have any Jamie Rich yet. We did get a question about Bernie, and we have a nice family photo that talks about him and Catherine Delaney, who have 2 kids together, and so they are a family. So that answers a question we were wondering, like, who is she? What's her backstory? So, perhaps it was Bernie who brought her on, and they're working at it as like a couple team now. Which is super cool. There's a lot of good answers in here from Diana. I like that very much. Even at one point, she talks about Rob Liefeld and, because the guy asks something about this comic is so much better than the paper wasting detriment to the environment known as Young Blood. And high praise to yourself, Miss Schutz, for delivering the best letters column in the industry. Yes. So she says, quit being so hard on Image. I don't know Rob Liefeld and I haven't read his book, but that's only because it's sold out all the time. There must be something going on there. So respect. That's respectful talk right there. So great.
What
They talk about the aerialist a little bit, the break between Kamiko
the
and
aerialist.
right. Yeah. Like he
What
said,
a
that's
book.
something that Matt works on, for fun in his spare time, of which he doesn't have any left. And Batman Grendel is still not out, but Diana says, like, keep up, because like it is not canceled, it is coming. And so keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah. So that's really awesome.
When we had the folks join the conversation, they said Devil's Quest comes after Batman Grendel 2?
I think so, yes.
Or is it the other way around?
I don't know.
One leads
into
the other.
Yeah. We'll go to the omnibus. I was thinking that. I was looking through the omnibus, and like the omnibus, like the Grendel Tales omnibus and whatever, and the Prime omnibus. We can kind of follow along in that order, though Batman Grendel doesn't really come in. I mean, it's not reprinted in those Omni buy, I don't think. Where is it? All right, so great issue, Ben. I'm loving it. Again, like we were talking about, stay in the conversation. Comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. You keep watching, we'll keep a Grendel in.
Keep on.
Vivat Grendel. Yes. As we keep going up to the 100, keep an eye out. It's going to be an amazing episode. There's one more left, and then our big 100th episode. Until next time, Vivat Grendel, and keep on Grendel.
Grendel.